Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be pretty big. There's two figures here and I decided to review them both at the same time. And that was pretty much influenced by Keyboard Warriors and their review on these two pieces by Big Chief Studios. So, Peaky Blinders, a show that I've always been tempted to watch but just didn't really have the time to start a new series. There's other things that I need to catch up on watching, and I was putting off Peaky Blinders, and I knew I'd get to it one day because it's right up my alley. I love that kind of stuff. But I was kind of kicked into gear watching it because Big Chief Studios recently got in touch and asked if I would be up for reviewing these two figures, and when you're a reviewer you never turn down content, so I said absolutely, thank you very much for thinking of me, here's my address. And then I knew it was time to get on Netflix and start watching Peaky Blinders so that I knew some of what I was talking about when I reviewed these figures. Now I've only just finished tonight, I've finished season 1 and I'm going to be watching all of it. It's really good show. And Cillian Murphy, and I think it's pronounced Killian, I used to say Cillian Murphy sometimes, but I'm going to go with Killian for the review. He's an amazing actor and he is in one of my favourite films of all time, Batman Begins. And what's amazing about this particular set of figures from Big Chief Studios, this is the signature edition, and it actually comes with signed plaques by the actors. So there's Paul Anderson and his signature right there, and here's Cillian Murphy's signature. So I've never had that before in, you know, anything really. Any figures I've ever collected in 16 years of collecting 1/6 scale, I've never had a figure come with an actual signature from the actor who plays the character on the show or the movie. So that's really cool. Just again, a little shout out to Keyboard Warriors. They did a great job on their review, and I found that review very helpful in preparation for mine. And they gave some great information about the packaging, which is very cleverly designed. Check out the Keyboard Warriors review as well as this one. They explain the box situation better than I will. But absolutely beautiful packaging, and they even come with backdrops. So let's get into this review. Please drop a like on the video for me. It'll help more people find this review. There's not too many videos. I think they've been out for about a year, and I can only find about 2 or 3 videos on YouTube on these figures. So this will be another video out there that people can find if they're curious about these pieces. But they come with so many accessories, so much stuff, there's so many layers of clothing. So I'm going to be showing you all the different looks. It's probably going to be quite a big review. So yeah, drop a like on it for me, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Instagram at DeanKnight333 for plenty of pictures from this review session. Full transparency, folks, with all the layers of clothing, I did notice in the videos on YouTube that I was watching in anticipation for these guys arriving, that with all the layers of clothing on the figure, the neck can kind of disappear and you get that kind of no neck looking figure, which obviously your eye goes to it. So just to let you know, I have slightly detached the heads from the body with all the layers of clothing on to slightly, you know, give the neck a bit more length and just look a bit more in proportion. It's not completely loose, it's slightly pressed onto the peg, but not all the way. It just gives the neck a bit more length when all the layers of clothing are on. Obviously if he was just down to his shirt and his vest, I would push the head all the way back down again. But I'll show you how that looks when that time comes. But I've done it to Arthur as well, just to give him a bit more of a neck when all the layers of clothing are on. Let's just take a look at Thomas Shelby's accessories. It comes with 2 guns, 3 cigarettes, and some smoke effect, which I think was supposed to be attached to the end of one of the cigarettes, but it does look very fragile, so I'll just get a tiny bit of Loctite glue and attach that to the end of the cigarettes. Not a problem. It comes with a lighter, a closed cigarette case, an open cigarette case, a glass of whiskey, some gin, some spectacles, a watch, and various hands, which seem to be very well done. Got some spare wrist pegs and some spare buttons for the clothing, and some gloved hands. There's also more gloved hands on the figure at the moment, and a material hat and a plastic hat. And then this certificate here, which you can read. This is to certify that the Thomas Shelby 6-scale character replica figure is part of an authentic signature edition signed by actor Cillian Murphy and is officially produced by Big Chief Studios Limited under license, limited to 400 pieces worldwide. And considering how popular the show is, that's a really low number. And there is the signature of Cillian Murphy on the plaque that comes with the signature edition. And on to Arthur's accessories. He has the cigar, it's very nicely detailed, and a glass of whiskey, a big bottle of whiskey there, and a really nice lighter, which is very nicely detailed. It's beautiful work on that. A wooden bat, 2 guns, a knife, a flask, and 2 hats, 1 material, 1 plastic, a bunch of hands, very nicely detailed, great sculpt work, rings, bone veins, fingernails, very nicely done. And some spare buttons for the clothing, some spare wrist pegs, and this nice little card here. And don't forget the packaging. That's a piece of art in itself. Both figures come with absolutely gorgeous boxes. Really great job on those. And the bases, which are a nice shape. Kind of reminds me of a slice of pizza. But I like it. It's different. It doesn't take up too much space. It does the job. It's a nice kind of texture on the surface, so it won't, scratch over time. It's a really good choice. And they go together nicely. Both figures come with some excellent accessories. It's all very well thought out. One thing I'm not keen on is the difference between the 2 techniques for keeping the vest shut on the figures. On Arthur we have big white buttons that you can definitely see, and on Thomas's vest we have a black velcro strip which is very subtle and keeps things looking very realistic. So I really like the velcro strip they've used on the vest to keep that shut on Thomas. Not keen on the visible white buttons on Arthur's vest. Alright, now we have Thomas on the rotating base. And we're just going to check out how the figure looks as he turns. The hair is removable at the top, it's held on with a magnet, and you can put the hats on then. I'll show you the look with the hats in a moment. They've really captured the intensity and the stare. I like the change in material at the back of the collar. I think the sculpt is like a 9.5 out of 10. They really nailed that. Now I'm just trying to figure this out, because if you notice on his temple there, it looks like he's sweating, and there is a slight kind of shine to his skin, because it looks like it's on purpose around the temple. So is it meant to be rain or sweat? It doesn't seem to be as prominent on Arthur's head sculpt. He seems to have a bit more of a matte finish on his skin. But Thomas definitely looks like he's been either sweating or he's in the rain. Well, it's actually on Arthur as well. And there's definitely a slight shine to the skin, because it's even on the hair. So it's consistent throughout the sculpts. It doesn't really take away from the piece. It is definitely an excellent sculpt and excellent paintwork. It just seems that there's some kind of finish over the top of it that gives it a shine. Alright, so I've removed the hairpiece from Thomas. That's held on by a magnet, and now we have the 2 hats. I believe he's supposed to wear the plastic one, and the other one that's made from material, I guess that's more of a hat for holding in his hand, or if you have a diorama set up you can rest it down somewhere. But I'll show you the look with the hat now on both figures. Alright, so both hats go on pretty easily, fit nice and snug on the sculpts, and I would probably be displaying them with the hats on, I think. one of Thomas's cigarettes has that kind of little pinched bit at the end, which I think we can wedge between his lips. So he will have the cigarette sticking out of his mouth. Let's show you how that looks. Yep, that works fine. And he is popping away, enjoying that good old smoke. Just give you another angle. And Tommy, fag on burn. Both Arthur and Tommy enjoying the good life, having a little pop, a little conversation, having a little drink there, this big old cigar. Now, both figures have a wire running through their coat to allow you to pose it like this, like they're in motion and the breeze is catching the coat there and revealing a beautiful red interior to Thomas's coat here. Beautiful work on that. The wire is nice and strong. And even with all the layers of clothing on, you're able to get the double bend in the elbow to bring the hand all the way up to the cigarette. So very well thought out outfit. I need to obviously spend more time posing the legs for a walking pose, but I was just showing you the effect of the coat catching the wind there. Arthur's coat has the same wire running through it, so you can do the same with him. Now I'm starting to remove layers of clothing, so I've removed the coat from Thomas Shelby here, and when I did remove the coat I pushed the neck all the way back down onto the joint, and it doesn't look too bad, but I do prefer him to have a bit more of a neck, so I'm going to do what I did at the beginning of the video and slightly lift the head and neck off the peg that's on the body, not all the way, just kind of partially remove it so it's still on there, but just not as much as it is pressed down at the moment. I just need him to have a bit more of a neck. Maybe once the jacket is off and it's just the shirt, tie and the vest, it'll look better when the head is all the way pressed down onto the body, but at the moment with it being all the way pressed down, I just think he needs a little bit more of a neck. That's something that I can easily do now. Depends on how you feel about that kind of thing, but let's see the difference once I lift the head up a little bit off the body. Alright, so instantly it looks a lot more in proportion and way more realistic, and overall from head to toe now it just makes way more sense visually. Now I haven't totally taken the head off the joint, it's still on there partially, and I'll prove that to you now by getting the figure and turning him upside down. I'm not using blue tack or cheating or anything, folks. I've only lifted it partially off the neck, and if I shake him it's not coming off, it's not going anywhere, so it's not a problem. You just kind of have to lift the neck or the headpiece, slightly give it a wiggle and just lift it up a little bit, and you'll get more of a neck, and I just think it looks way more in proportion now. Right, now here's both figures without the coat on, and one little thing I was really impressed with Thomas is they even got that tiny little gold button on the collar of his shirt. You can just about make it out behind the tie, but I was noticing that earlier when I was watching an episode, thinking I wonder will they have the gold button at the collar there, and they do. This is a really nice job on the suit, really nice material, really good fit, excellent quality. And on Arthur, again, it's a shame about the white buttons on the vest, but I do like the overall work on the suit. Fits well, looks good quality. It's good posability, you're able to get him to outstretch his arm all the way to point the gun. It reminds me of a moment from season 1, the interaction with Sam Neill's character. Again, I've only seen season 1 so far, folks. I'm looking forward to watching the rest. I've heard there's some really awesome appearances by some pretty high caliber actors, so yeah man, I'm really enjoying it. The posability looks fantastic, this all looks really good. I'll just put this pose on the rotating base so we can see it from a few angles. Looks pretty decent. Brother's like, don't you point that gun at me, you little fucker. Ooh. So backup has arrived, and Arthur has his gun and knife in hand. Holds on to all the accessories really well. There to back up his brother Thomas, who is still pointing his gun at someone off screen. Who is he pointing his gun at? He's pointing his gun at Beavis.
Are you threatening me?
Yep, I think he is. I like the choice that Big Chief Studios went with for Thomas's suit, rather than just, you know, like a black jacket and a black vest with a... I think this is the shirt that I recognise a lot from Season 1, that kind of blue, very light blue, but with a white collar and the gold button behind the tie there. But I prefer the choice here for this kind of, what's the word, plaid, tweed? I forget what this particular design is called. But I think it's definitely more interesting to look at than just a black suit. So I think this will hold my interest a lot longer. And it's really impressive, the tailoring on this. It really is a shrunk down 1/6 scale suit. Very well put together. Very good fit. Alright, now before I remove the jackets and show you how that looks, we'll just take a look at this look with the jackets on, but with the hair back on the head sculpts. Overall, very impressed with the outfits. You can tell a lot of work and passion has gone into them. Really good choices for material and colours. Really good fit on the body. Doesn't seem to be hindering articulation. My only niggle is the white buttons that are visible on Arthur's vest, but other than that I am very happy and impressed with the outfits. Very good work on those. Alright, so now we got the figures down to just the shirts and the vests, and now I've pressed the heads all the way down onto the joints again, so they are fully pressed down onto the neck connector. And now that all the layers of clothing are removed, it looks a lot more in proportion. It's just the way it is. You know, it's going to happen. You can only make 1/6 scale jackets and coats so thin before they don't look right anymore, so that's just how I solve that little visual issue. Just slightly disconnect the neck from the body when you're rocking the, you know, all the layers, and when you're down to this kind of minimalist kind of look, you can pop it all the way back on the joint again, and now it looks in proportion. Really nice material chosen for the shirts. Everything is nice material, but I'm really impressed by the shirt material. It's really feels nice and high quality. And the cuffs of the shirt, especially on Thomas, are very impressively done. It's just those damn white buttons. If it weren't for those, I mean, it'd be an absolute 10 out of 10 for the whole outfit on Arthur here. I think he's getting a 9 out of 10 because of those buttons, but Thomas, you know, I've got no choice but to give the outfit on him a 10, because that is just 1/6 scale perfection right there. Beautiful work. And you can see there on the cuffs on Thomas's shirt, it's really nicely done. Great detail on his hands as well. Look, the cuticles and the nails. Very, very cool. Again, beautiful material used for the vest. And the tie as well, that is very nicely done. You can see the quality on the shirt there. because of the design of the bases, they go together nicely like this. So to make a complete circle, how many more would you need? 1, 2, 3, is it 4 more? So I would love to see Alfie Solomon, the Tom Hardy character. That's just from clips I've seen on YouTube. I've yet to watch that season. I'm really looking forward to it. And I'd have to let you know in the future what other characters I'd like to see from the show. But the fact is, folks, if you want more characters from this show made by Big Chief Studios, these two figures here have to sell well. So that would be the next one I'd like to see, is Alfie Solomon. The holsters for the gun, quite different designs for each character, but both done very well and house the gun nicely. Just slides right on in, doesn't bulk out too much. It's all good fit. Same for Arthur. Works well with the figure. Now, I don't remember seeing Thomas wear glasses in season 1. I could be wrong about that, but maybe it's something that pops up later on in the show. But they are included with the figure, and that's how they look on him. Yeah, I've reattached the smoke effect on his cigarette there. And that's my first time ever having a figure that has that effect on a cigarette. I've seen it before with Gangster's Kingdom stuff, I believe, but it's really cool that they included it here with Thomas Shelby. Alright, so we've got Thomas on the rotating base again. Now that we've removed the coat and the jacket, there's a lot to look at everywhere on the outfit. So many little details. And it all looks really on point. Yeah, looking at him like this, I'd say overall the proportions on the figure are excellent. Alright, now same thing for Arthur. Just take a look at him turning. Proportions are good. Outfit comes together really well. Lots of detail to look at all over it. Overall for Arthur, I think the proportions are pretty good. Outfit certainly fits the body very well. Now on the back of the box we got some credits here. You got design and development by Big Chief Studios Limited in the UK. Yeah, we've got lead for the project is Grego. Portrait sculpt Inigo Gill. Special thanks to Stephen Knight, which I believe is the creator of the show. Then you got costume development, paint, decoration, product photography, packaging design. That's really good. So shout out to Mark Andrews and Morgan Cox. Online service, logistics, and special thanks to Killian Murphy. Alright folks, time to give you my final thoughts and a score out of 10. Final thoughts are, these are excellent figures. That's why I'm going to give them both a 9 out of 10. Not absolutely perfect, very few figures are. But the only reason I'm docking a little bit of pointage on each one is just the slightly glossy skin and the white buttons that are visible on Arthur's vest. Which feels like a bit of a nitpick thing to go on about. But that's what I'm here to do, tell you exactly what's going on and just be absolutely honest with you and tell you the facts. If there was anything else to point out, I would have done it. I've pointed out the slightly glossy skin on the head sculpts, the visible white buttons on Arthur's vest, but that's all I got to point out. that's all there is. They are loaded with accessories. The likeness is very, very strong. Really the best out there at the moment in 1/6 scale. There's not that many options to choose from, but you know, the Cillian Murphy head sculpt is pretty much dead on, as is the Paul Anderson sculpt. Slight shine to the skin, but in regular lighting situations like they are now, where the light's backed off a little bit, it looks absolutely fine. Before, when I was showing you close-up footage of the head sculpts and we were getting that shine, these lights were right up against the figure's head. So I'm quite happy to give these both a 9 out of 10. The packaging is stunning, really classy. That's actually the back of the boxes that you're seeing there. But beautiful work on the box. Really nice touch to have with the signature edition, the actual signature handwritten by the actors to display with the figure. That just shows you, you know, the amount of care that's gone into it, and the actors themselves, just the thought of them signing all of these and seeing the figures and talking about them and being, you know, I just would love to see behind the scenes footage of stuff like that, like the first time these guys would actually see these figures, and it's really cool. Beautiful presentation, lovely clothing, the amount of accessories. It's basically 2 DX figures. You get so much stuff, and you can always, you know, swap and change around accessories between the characters. They're both excellent pieces. 9 out of 10 from me. Highly would recommend them, honestly. If you're a fan of the show, you can't go wrong with either one of these. Better yet, get both, because they're brothers and they belong together. Do remember that this particular edition, the signature edition, there's only 400 made, and then that's it. They are both in stock at bigchiefstudios.co.uk, so I hope they do sell out, and I hope Big Chief Studios have a lot of success with them, because they've clearly put the work in and they cared about what they were doing, and that's always nice to see. 2 excellent figures. Thanks for watching, folks. Drop a like on the video for me, let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, follow me on Instagram at DUnite333. Thanks again to Big Chief Studios and Greg for getting in touch, making this review possible. Really enjoyed seeing these two, and I'm looking forward to finding a nice space in the collection for them. See you soon, guys. Take it easy. Bye bye.